Internets. It's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about Daredevil Season 3, Episodes 3 and 4. No Good Deed and Blindsided.
Yes.
Because he's blind.
What?
Okay. All right. So, we start with Episode 3 begins with Wilson Fisk. He's now in his penthouse taking a shower. You see he's got the little ankle monitor on. But he's, in a much better spot than he was in prison. And he's recalling what happened with when the Albanians attempted to take out the motorcade.
Yes.
And we end episode 4 with Matt alone, locked in the back of a cab going into the sea.
The abyss.
The abyss. No, but yeah, into water.
Yes.
Okay, so that's our thing. A lot of stuff happens in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Now, the most notable thing that most people are talking about, we'll just jump to it, maybe just to talk about that up front, is is the latest hallway fight.
Yes.
It's a good hallway fight.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's good.
It's a hallway fight.
Yes.
Don't go into a hallway. If you're a defender, don't go into a hallway because you're better off going to an alley. Yeah. You're better off going, into like a lion's cage.
What is an alley though, but a hallway?
It's true, like a hallway without a roof.
That's right. It's not like the roof is, he's not jumping up on the roof especially.
Good point. It's just that's a pretty dangerous spot for people in the defenders.
Yes.
Including Matt Murdock. Yes. Now, okay, what things that make this scene particularly cool? I did a little research on it. I read a story on it. Basically. That's my research. I went to the library in the tomes and I lit candles. No, I read a story about
an article.
But it was an interview with one of the showrunners.
Okay.
And so it was done in one take.
Sure.
It was on take 7.
Yes.
That they got it right.
I wonder how many times, because there's a little bit in the middle where they talk.
Yes.
I wonder how many times it was like,
So I think take 6 was that. So take 6, they got it kind of right, but they were like, well, that middle talking part, it just felt like, Matt wasn't quite on his game in that part. So we're gonna do it again. And it was like, oh god, chalk it up. So interestingly, because it's all in one take, they did have a plan in mind for in case it wasn't going to work, because they weren't sure it was going to work. I mean, this is like a 10, 11 minute sequence.
It's pretty long.
So what they did is, I guess we're going to see later in the season, someone is watching security cam footage of this fight.
Yes.
Oh, look, it's Matt Murdock and he's going crazy,
yep.
I assume. So their plan was, okay, if things go wrong, we could always use this extra footage and make it seem like, security cam footage of him. Like, you could make a cut that way.
Sure.
That was their thought. But they didn't need it. They didn't do that.
No, didn't need it.
So some of the things that are kind of cool are, one, I mean, there is a stuntman that's helping out. But about 80% of the work is Charlie Cox.
Sure.
But he does have a stuntman who's lying in the hallway. Yeah. Then gets up, at one point in the interview it mentions there's a spot where he's taking on 2 cops. They're decked out.
Yeah.
And so it's the stunt man, and he falls down and does this kick.
Yeah.
The second, he kicks twice. First kick is stunt man, second kick Charlie, and then Charlie gets up and he's in the frame, and stunt man keeps lying down.
I was suspicious of occasionally when he seemed to be around the corner.
Yeah.
If it was really him.
Also, there were bits where, for instance, I noticed this, and then in the interview, it kind of confirmed it. There was this moment where he gets bodily thrown back into the infirmary of the hospital. He's in a prison. He's in a prison hallway. A long prison fight. Anyway, he gets thrown back in the infirmary, and he crashes against the bed and falls down out of frame.
Yes.
And
those are one of the curious parts I thought about.
But it's obviously there's no cut, because you can see there's a prisoner who's in the frame, so it's not cutting. But the camera goes, and it cuts down to it's waiting for him to emerge, from the back of the gurney. And in that time, what they did is they get at various spots. This is one of them. They planted little glasses of fake blood. so that he could chug it, and then when he gets hit, he would like spit blood out.
That's
So like
interesting.
they had to plant those off camera in various spots.
That's cool.
So that he could vomit blood.
Yeah.
Vomiting blood.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, now you remind me of that point when interesting.
So it's a fight, and it's not just a hallway. So there's a few things. Also, he's not in a mask. So
Right.
it is Matt Murdock, not Daredevil,
Right.
which is a different. So that's also harder to hide his face. That was
Sure.
one of the things that getting that stunt double in there was a little trickier than just it's a guy in a mask. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a long tracking shot, so it's not just a hallway. He's got to go through doors. He has this, as you say, this talking scene in the middle where he finds out some vital information. Then he gets taken out, and he's outside. He gets out of the hallway.
He does.
Anyway, it's an impressive technical feat,
Sure.
and it does look dangerous. I mean, it looks violent.
Yes.
Like, oof.
People throwing each other around.
Yeah, hitting
falling
the
on their
door and falling
shoulders
through the door, and
Yeah.
like, yeesh.
Wow.
But yeah, and there's a riot. I mean, there's a guy stabbing a cop. There's all. Yeah, it's well done. They spent some time on it, and it paid off. You seem a little less enthused about it, perhaps.
I am.
In what way? What was it? Just because you're like, oh, I've seen a hallway fight before? Or,
Well, yeah. Well, it's just I'm not. I feel like they've done this season fairly well, but I just don't feel like their ambitions are as high as I would like. So.
okay. In what way? Like, is there something specific that you're like?
Well, part of this, I have to believe, I'm kind of waiting for him to get to the point where he's not in this sort of nihilistic path where he wants to kill Kingpin.
And kind of die in the process, it seems like to me, too. There's a bit of a...
Right, yeah, thinking that, yeah. So, and so it makes me a little impatient with the whole, let the devil out. It's like, okay, I get the point. There's this devil inside.
You feel like, in other words, he's going to come to a moment, he's going to have the come to Jesus moment, so to speak, where he's going to be like, okay, just revenge killing is not what I do.
Right. It's so, I think it's valid and everything. I just, it's me bristling against, how I wish it was more. But, it's...
More
it's,
in what way? I mean, like, more... You mean like, are you suggesting he should just accept that he's a revenge guy, or should he accept that he's a hero, is a lawful good hero, or something? What
no,
is
I think it's hard, I guess, because I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
I mean, part of me still feels like Jessica Jones and the canceling of Luke Cage and I said Nick Cage, Luke Cage. He was canceled too, Nick Cage. No, Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and it's like, this whole thing was supposed to be this sort of superhero version of The Wire. So, in the way that The Wire built on every season that it had, and all the
there's like a network of this environment of the culture, and then you could kind of just look over at this part of the web and look over at this part of the web, but they kind of intermingled in each season.
Yeah, and I felt like the themes were nice, strong themes. I mean, here again, you get this sort of to what extent do we have corruption or whatever, and so this guy who's an FBI agent, there, and Bullseye.
We've met Bullseye now.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting character.
He is.
But the extent that he's Bullseye is so small.
In what way? What do you mean? Like,
Because the actual Bullseye is just a killer. It's just a crazy person who enjoys killing and wants to kill people.
okay.
And this guy's not that. He's really good at killing people, but it looks like he's got some kind of PTSD or something.
Yeah.
Which seems like it's something that with the Punisher and they get a lot of PTSD there, and it just seems like it's like
he's creepy. We can cut to that. We'll chat about that for a second. So you've got, they hide the ball. I think most people watching probably realize that this is Bullseye, but there could be some some subset of viewership that's like, oh, he's an FBI agent, he's really good at shooting.
Yeah.
But so the show kind of hides the ball a little bit on him, and it's like, oh, it's Agent Poindexter.
Yes.
You need to go to that your court-assigned therapy to get back on duty.
Yeah.
So he goes to this therapist. The therapist's like, hey, look, you really need talk this out. He's like, oh yeah, I got this girlfriend. Her name's Julie. She's great. We have pizza. We always go out. I can really talk to her and confide. It really helps me unwind and keeps me on straight and narrow. Gets his okay. And then they let the cat out of the bag when his date is, I stalk this woman who has no idea that I'm tracking
I really helps
her.
me unwind.
Yeah.
I tell her a lot of things in the car when I'm watching her across the street.
I eat pizza while she's eating pizza
Yeah.
to pretend that we're on the same date. Like, okay, that guy is messed up.
Yeah.
And so, he's got severe psychological problems. He's not just, she's like evil thing that kills people.
No.
He's a emotionally damaged person. Who also, though, because he's an FBI agent and you don't feel like he's necessarily a corrupt one, that he's trying to do a good thing, maybe?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
He wants to be a good FBI agent, although he did just murder the Albanians in cold blood.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, it seems like you could argue in a way that perhaps he's more motivated by the need to protect his, who he's working with. So these people that are attacking the FBI and trying to save Fisk, are killing all these FBI people. So maybe that was his motivation. Less than
you mess with my crew, I will take it out on you.
Yeah.
So we see over the course of these 2 episodes, Fisk is working on co-opting Bullseye. And so far, I will call him Special Agent Poindexter because he hasn't been called Bullseye yet in the show.
No, he hasn't. Who knows if he ever will.
A good point. But so Poindexter, Poindexter. He knows a lot of nerdy functions. No, I assume Poindexter is maybe because it's like dexterity, and they call him Dex. So I would guess he's dexterous.
Could be. I mean,
Perhaps,
I feel like that's one of the names that they use for him in the comics or something.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that maybe that's the idea. He's
could be
very agile.
Yeah.
So anyway, he is still of the you're a convict. I'm the FBI. You suck. You've caused the death of a lot of my friends. But Fisk is wearing on him, and one of the things that Fisk does is there's an investigation into the Albanian attack because people are like, did you just shoot those guys in cold blood?
Yeah.
And so Fisk lies for him to say no. He gave them their rights and everything were fine, but
he warned them and they tried to draw on him, so that's when he had to defend himself.
But it's obvious that Fisk is doing that to get in good with Poindexter, and he knows that Poindexter is watching the security camera footage of him lying and looks up at the camera. I was like, I did for you. So you'll also get the feeling, because we do learn in that, for instance, in that hallway fight that we just talked about, that one of the big things we learn is Fisk had himself shanked so that he could get to the penthouse.
Yes.
It was not the Albanians that tried to do a thing. It was Fisk doing it. So Fisk has a lot of control.
That's what it was. Yeah, that was in the prison, yes. Yeah. And then they attacked him outside.
So I think it's very reasonable to assume that Fisk is also controlling the situation to bring Poindexter to his side as well.
Right. Yeah, I feel it's safe to assume.
So, and also Fisk has so much power that he organizes the cops, the non-Albanians in the jail.
Yes.
He accesses the security feed.
Yes.
He has a conversation with Matt Murdock on the phone, which is kind of a cool conversation, actually. But it's like, whoa, that guy's powerful.
Yeah.
He's not really in prison at this point. He's not really. No. He's got the little ankle monitor, but that's about it.
Yeah. What do you think of potential DA Foggy Nelson?
All right. So yes, that was so.
One of the things that was irritating to me about that was that his girlfriend pretty much lost all her personality. in the first season, when they were first getting involved,
Okay.
she was like, kind of razzing him in a way and playing with him and stuff, and and so when he would get too serious or whatever, that she seemed to, but now it's just straight, oh, you're having a difficult time, and here's what you need to do, you need
She
to do this.
stopped being like his good-humored love interest, and she's more of like a Jiminy Cricket now. Like, I'm your conscience. Let your conscience be your guide.
Yeah, and she's just, straight up supportive, which is, that's what the script requires. So
you're saying that's something you would prefer had not happened.
Well, just do it in a way that's, that it was in that character.
Gotcha. Right.
So, I think too, like, you can possible her to be supportive and also fairly ironic. She was kind of ironic in the first season.
Right. Agreed. They kind of just, instead of having him just say the words to himself, they had her say it to him. Yeah. Like, my conscience tells me. So what we do see, though, is that Foggy and all three of our main characters, have their reaction to Fisk being out.
Yes, that's correct.
And so, you've got everybody doing their own thing. So and part of that is motivated by, oh my God, we might be dead.
Yes.
And so,
yes.
So from Foggy's perspective, oh my God, I might be dead. And Fisk belongs to prison. So, on the advice of his girlfriend,
yes,
his Jiminy Cricket,
that's right,
he decides to do a write-in candidacy for district attorney.
Yes. And it's funny, like, I knew that the Foggy's friend, not a friend, from the first season wasn't the guy that Foggy's running against, but...
Oh, Blake Tower!
But for a while I was like, well, they kind of look similar. But no, I've seen that actor, Blake, in a number of... I liked, he did an interesting sort of part in the last season, I think it was. I mean, it was the previous season. It might have been more the previous season of Elementary.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, so actually, Foggy first goes to Blake Tower and offers his services to get, his attorney services to get Fisk back in jail. Yeah. Tower's like, look, the FBI support the guy. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah. Which is true, right? I mean, I don't know that that's even a jerk move. Just like, look, you want me to go against the FBI to like...
Well, you could argue, though, that he, to the extent that he could try to do something about it, like, make statements that oppose it and, not just roll over.
I just wonder if there's something... I mean, it's probably right. He's probably just going to be, you're the weak guy, and so I'm going to... But there is it would be interesting if maybe Foggy has pushed this a little too far, and he's like, because he's basically Foggy shows up at a cops award ceremony or something, or some kind of
meeting
celebration, and then basically talks bad about Tower.
Yep.
And has some cops sign up. They're like, yep, I sign on with your petition to screw that guy. And it just might be interesting if like he takes down a guy that actually didn't necessarily deserve being taken down. It might. I don't know how you would show that necessarily, but it might be kind of an interesting thing of, like, wasn't. I mean, he was acting reasonably, and yet you decided, hey, I'm worried about my own life. So
well, I mean, one thing though that I'm kind of getting, at least maybe I saw it before, but from the current season of you don't listen to that many podcasts, Serial.
Okay, I've heard that I did see or listen to the first 2 seasons of Serial.
Okay.
I have not heard the
third
most
season
recent one. Okay.
Really sort of emphasizes in terms of the cops and the legal firms or whatever, and how often they're there just to sort of support the cops. I mean, they're obviously dependent upon them for to come in to work for the state. So the state very often goes with what the cops say. So the fact that the cops are upset about this thing, I'm not gonna do anything to curry favor with the cops. Why would I do that? It's kind of implausible. So, and perhaps though that that's just another palm that was greased. And maybe we'll find that out.
Good point. He just could be right. He could be on the Fisk payroll.
Yeah.
And that's probably the easiest way to do it. And he's like, he's the evil guy, and it's good. He got taken out.
What can I do? I don't want the feds.
So that's Foggy's arc. We did see him he has nightmares, regular nightmares, enough that his girlfriend can name them.
Yes.
Is this the laughing
Matt?
It's like, no, this is body Matt.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
And then it clears it right up. I assume once he sees he thinks he's hallucinating. Maybe that's what they should have had, actually, just like they had Fisk walking around.
So Matt is hallucinating.
They should have had Matt walking around with Foggy, like, hey.
Because when Matt realizes that Fisk is out, his first thought is, I'm going to show up at this penthouse and kill him.
Yeah.
So he shows up at the penthouse, he tries to get in, he actually gets stopped by Bullseye.
Yes.
In a non-Bullseye role, and this is role in the FBI.
Yes.
Like, look, you have the pass? No, get out of here. Okay. But in the then Matt finds Fisk's attorney and kind of chokes him out for a while until security arrives. And that's what tips Fisk off that Matt's still alive, because the attorney's like, hey, by the way, Daredevil's back.
Yes.
So when you think about that, Matt, in his desperation, he realizes, okay, he decides, I know where Foggy hangs out. I'm going to go to the bar where Foggy is. I'm going to tell him I'm back, but tell him, don't say anything.
Yeah, don't say anything to Karen. Don't tell her.
And the real reason I'm meeting him is not to clue him in.
No.
It's to steal his wallet
Yeah.
so I can pretend to be him
Yeah.
when I break into the prison to get information.
Yeah, I guess, was he suspended or something? I mean, why does he, or I guess he's not currently acting his
I think
guy's
maybe
attorney or something? I mean.
Maybe it's because the people think he's dead?
Oh, yeah, I guess that could be.
It could just be Matt Murdock is dead, so he died around that same time that Daredevil died in that building crash. Or maybe he doesn't want to be known as himself. I don't. But I think it's probably that he's dead. He's off the books.
It could be.
He doesn't want to show people he's back. So, but just the idea that he goes in to talk to this source. Hey, how do I talk to Vic, the boss of the Albanians?
Yeah.
This guy, to make it seem like he's not a snitch, supposedly, he punches Matt.
Punches Matt.
Then Matt has to go to the infirmary, which starts off this whole thing.
Yes.
So that means he wouldn't have ever had to go to the infirmary if the guy he was there to see hadn't punched him.
Yeah.
So the guy who punched him had to be in on it too. Yeah?
I guess it's possible.
I'm just saying, if that guy doesn't punch him, he just leaves. Oh, we got to get you to the infirmary.
Right.
Guy, for no reason.
Well, okay, so here's what we know. We know that, but maybe the plan was to get Foggy.
You mean from Fisk?
Yeah. Maybe it's both of them.
I think it was probably I think it's just like Fisk at the moment has that omnipotent behind the scenes puppet master thing going on.
Yeah, maybe they've certainly got enough cameras there to have some kind of facial recognition thing going on.
Yeah.
Who knows? And he has this plan for wherever Matt shows up.
So that's the Foggy story. What am I forgetting?
Karen's name?
Karen. Okay, yeah. Karen! No. So Karen, so basically all of them are finding out, as I said, that Fisk's out of jail. Her reaction is to try to do a story on this and get dirt on him to get him back into prison. So she ends up talking to Ray Nadeem, the FBI agent, who's on borrowed time. But you know what? In the Ray Nadeem death sweepstakes, he's still alive through episode 4. You get him, Ray. No way he survives the season. But okay, go get him, Ray.
I feel like you're just trying to get him killed or something.
Get
yourself killed.
Every episode he's around is one more than he probably deserved. Although I like him and I like the character. I'm just saying, he is on borrowed time. But yeah, he doesn't let a lot of information out to Karen. But he tells her, he's staying in the penthouse. Karen ends up finding out that this guy, he got the penthouse, he has all these holding companies, and he actually owns the penthouse.
Yes.
And this particular room in the penthouse was actually owned by the celebrity that got attacked originally that Daredevil ended up saving.
Oh.
And it was because that guy was holding out on Fisk. So the attack on him was ordered by Fisk. So that's, anyway, kind of a series of dominoes there. Yeah. But Karen, we see her, she's put on a blind date. She doesn't realize it even by her boss.
Yes.
It's like, my nephew is really nice.
Yes.
And they have this dinner conversation that's very awkward.
Yes.
And we see again, I was going to bring this up in our episodes 1 and 2 talk, but I forgot. But it's come up again, so I'm like, all right, this is important. We hear this backstory to Karen.
Oh, yeah. My brother.
Yeah. She was like, I was accused of killing my brother, and I can only assume at this point it's a car accident, I'm going to guess. We don't know, but I would guess like a drunk driving or something like that, or something like.
I mean,
but it's important because it's come up multiple times now.
It might be gun related, right? Because the first season, she's like, not the first time I used a gun.
She does pull a gun out. In
she was
another
one. Yeah, that was another.
I think that's kind of she carries a gun. Remember?
Could be that. Yeah.
So the other thing from the first couple episodes that is also brought up that I forgot to mention before is this. Matt keeps referring to himself as Job, or he's equating himself to the Job story.
Yes.
Which is basically this guy gets just crapped on by God, and he just keeps taking it.
Oh yeah, just all a test.
And he's like, "Yep, I still love God. He's awesome." And then he gets his eternity in heaven or whatever. But Matt is kind of like, "Yeah, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm done being crapped on." So
let the devil out.
Let the devil out, which is what the imaginary version of Fisk tells him.
Yes.
He's in the parking lot. Is it cops or just security guards? It's probably cops, or like surrounding him because he was torturing Fisk's attorney. He's beating them all up. He's getting away, but there's one guy tries to grab him, and he starts just hammering on the guy, and his imaginary Fisk says, "Let the devil out." He's just pummeling the crap out of this guy.
Pummeling the crap out of him.
Who's
assault.
Not dead, but is going to need a very good dental plan.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's kind of the state of things with our Karen, Foggy, Matt, Fisk. We also, Bullseye, we said that he's not quite there yet, but he's probably an episode away from going.
Right.
All right, what do you need from me?
Yeah. Put on this red suit.
The cab going in the water was a little weird. The staging of it was odd because it's like Matt wakes up after having gotten in the cab and passing out because he had injected with some unknown drug.
Yes.
So he passes out. It's daylight when he passes out. He wakes up. It's night.
Yes.
He's like, "Hey, who are you?" Because the cabbie's different. The cabbie's like, "Oh, we'll get you home." Yeah. Cabbie jumps out of the cab and runs the car. So has the cabbie been driving around for 5 hours waiting for it to get dark?
Right.
To what end? And I also feel like driving a hero, there are ways to kill him, right? It's obviously killing him must not be the goal because you could have just killed him in his sleep.
Yeah.
But instead it's like, oh, he's awake? Drive him in. Now that he's awake and can probably get out of this, we'll drive the cab off into the water. So there's not really the thought that he's going to die. It's just, it's obviously, I think it's a higher plan by Fisk.
Yeah.
We're setting up Matt. We now have Matt on camera pretending to be Foggy, beating the hell out of people during a prison riot, including cops, and then escaping. And then hours later, ending up in the river. I mean, somehow this is all going to be the city is on a manhunt for Matt Murdock.
We'll see.
Here's me thinks. But anyway, so that's it. That's through episode 4. We'll be back talking about episodes 5 and 6 next week. Thank you, Paul. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.